raised in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I graduated with a BS degree in mechanical engineering. So I really worked hard to be employed at Ball Aerospace. My task and my career has been based on designing, manufacturing, assembling, and testing the instruments that go inside the Hubble Space Telescope. And Ball has built all of the replacement instruments that are on the telescope. I've trained 16 astronauts over the 4 servicing missions that I have worked, because there are 4 astronauts per mission. The pool in Texas is about 2.5 times the size of an Olympic swimming pool. We all worked together closely enough that we knew when some of the divers were getting low on air. So we'd go up and shut their tanks off. The scuba tank, we just shut the air off. And the divers were good enough that they didn't panic, they knew what to do, but there's no way that you'd ever get away with doing that in the new tank. And it was like, you know, and you do it very carefully. You'd shut the tank off, the valve in the back of the tank, you'd shut it off very quietly so they couldn't feel you doing it, and all of a sudden they'd on the regulator, and you just couldn't suck any more air out of the tank, and you'd turn around and, you know, there's the guy that shut your air off, and you just steal his regulator. Which was a no. We would wear scuba equipment, which consisted of a wetsuit, which looks like this item on the floor right here. And we have to wear a neutral buoyancy device, which is the black part of this. And then we have to have an air tank. The pool we trained in was easily 10 times as big as this pool. What I would like to see happen in manned spaceflight is that we establish a colony on the moon, and then from there explore deep space. Go not only to Mars, but then past our solar system, hopefully out to other solar systems.
The privilege of working with Rich Johnson for over a decade on the Hubble Space Telescope, which Ball Aerospace has had a very significant part of in making that telescope work, putting new instruments in and keeping it going for almost 20 years now. I'm standing here in front of some equipment to kind of show you what astronauts have to consider and practice when they get ready for a mission. Like Rich said, we are most familiar with the Hubble Space Telescope missions, which require the astronauts to go into space on the space shuttle, grab the Hubble Space Telescope out of space, keep it close to the shuttle, and then astronauts went out and were able to work on it. They have to wear gloves like these are a pair of hockey gloves, which are real close to the types of gloves that astronauts have to use because they're pressurized. And they're also warm, just like your ski gloves, to keep them warm. They have air flowing through them, and they also keep them safe when they're touching things. So they've got these big heavy gloves, and they're asked to do some real delicate work. Particularly on the last Hubble mission, they were asked to do work that was never ever intended for an astronaut to do. One of the things they have to do is work with tools like this. This looks like just a regular old power screwdriver. They have the same thing up in space, but theirs is quite a bit more expensive and designed just for their task. So they have to use these tools to get screws in and out, to tighten them. One loose screw up in space in the middle of the Hubble Space Telescope could float around and hit optics and hit mirrors and make quite a bit of damage. So every single screw has to be accounted for. So these are some things that, just to kind of show you what astronauts do in space, and Ball uses this to help students understand the complexities of that. An astronaut is chosen 2 years before their mission, and they've trained for 2 years straight. I'll never go into space, but it's real gratifying to see the images coming back from Hubble and knowing that I had a little tiny part in that.